As you can see in this picture, I can pretty much sleep anywhere under any circumstances. In this picture, you can see it's pouring down the rain, completely drenched. Didn't matter. When it's time to nap, it's time to nap. So let me tell you a little bit about that situation. So Reagan's graduation ceremony was last week, her fake graduation. And the reason I call it fake, she did get her 4-year degree, but she's going for a master's, so she still has about a year and a half left at that school. So we'll be doing this all over again here in, a year and a half. So parts of that ceremony were great, and parts of it were absolutely miserable. It poured down the rain the entire time. We're sitting on this grassy hill. Yeah, so it's a little muddy, and of course everybody's wet. There's grandparents there. There's, to watch their grandkids. There's people dealing with things that only they know what they're dealing with. I was in the middle of a chemo treatment, trying to protect my chemo bag from getting wet. Just miserable, right? And the whole time I'm thinking, why would we do this? So, every other school in that area moved their ceremonies inside. So the school administrators kept saying, well, we had a vote and the kids decided we wanted to do it outside no matter what. As long as there's not lightning, we're going to have it outside. My first reaction to that was, well, that's dumb. Like, why would you leave that up to the kids? I mean, obviously these kids are smart, right? But kids still make bad decisions. We've all been there. Looking back at some of the decisions I made when I was 20, 21, 22, dumb decisions. So why would you leave it up to them? But then I got to thinking, one of the things that I say often is choose your hard. What I mean by that is, go do some hard stuff. Take the steps versus the elevator. Go for that long walk instead of the drive. Do some hard stuff. So thinking back, that ceremony, if they would have moved it inside, they would have moved it inside. They were only allowed to have like 3 guests per student. And there were a lot of people there at that ceremony. So obviously a lot of people would not be able to watch. So good for them, especially the girls. They had their makeup done, they had their hair done, and they're out there in the pouring rain just so their family members could watch them graduate. So they did it right. They chose their hard. Good job, Elizabethtown. As I said earlier, I had chemo treatment this past weekend. So Friday, I got connected up at the cancer center. And let me just say, the way that I conduct myself at the cancer center has drastically changed over the years. Years 1 and 2, social butterfly. I made sure that I engaged everybody around me, show support, try to inspire, kind of like what I do here and now on YouTube. But I don't do that any longer. Uh, I try to not engage anybody. I mean, I'm polite with everyone, but I definitely don't want to tell them my story at the cancer center. And the reason for that, like I remember when it changed, it was year 3. There was a younger guy sitting across from me in the pod, and he noticed that we were both on the same kind of chemotherapy. So he assumed that, I had colon cancer just like he did. And he was super polite and nice. Hey man, if you need anything, just let me know. Here's my name, here's my number. If you got any questions, I've been doing this a long time. This is my 2nd year battling colon cancer. So if you need anything, let me know. And I thanked him for that. But then I let him know that, hey, I think I'm good. I'm also kind of got this figured out. This is actually my 3rd year. I'm fighting colon cancer. And I saw something change in his eye at that moment. It was discouragement. Whenever you get diagnosed with cancer, the thought process is you go in, you do what the doctors tell you do your 12 cycles and you're done, right? You beat it. You just gotta get through the suck. But, sometimes it comes back and that can be discouraging. And I can tell, I'm sure he was discouraged when it came back the second time, but knowing that, hey, maybe it could come back a third time, man, I don't want to see that look again. So I stop engaging into people. Again, I'm fairly polite, but like I don't get into my story, which is absolutely crazy considering I share my story openly on this with thousands of people. But the people that are around me, I try not to engage to the point where like a couple weeks ago, I was wearing one of my cancer shirts and I stood up and the lady next to me said immediately like, "Hey, that's a really nice shirt." And I know she didn't have time to read it or even know what the shirt said, but she wanted to start a conversation. And unfortunately, like I shut it down right away just because I didn't want to be in that awkward situation where I say, hey, I've been doing this for 5 years now. So for whatever reason, something changed this past Friday. So I'm sitting in my pod, and there was an older gentleman that came into the pod, sat across from me, and he had the same blue bag that I wear, the chemo pump, and he was going to get disconnected. And man, although I didn't want to, like something just kept telling me, like, talk to this guy. So sure enough, his alarm went off indicating that his chemotherapy was done. It was time for a disconnect. And I looked at him and said, hey, man, that is the best sound in the world. I absolutely love that sound. So then he started asking questions, like, hey, do you have wear one of these bags as well? He was recently diagnosed, and this was maybe his 14th treatment. Yeah, 14th. Um, so after he got disconnected, he actually came over and we chatted a little bit because he did ask some questions. Um, and I told him, now I've been doing this for a long time. Didn't seem to phase him though. Like he wanted to, he had some questions that he had to get answered, so we asked all the questions and we started talking for a while. It turns out that we live near each other. He's from my area. He's from the Cove. Great guy. He probably was there for about an hour and a half after he got disconnected, just talking to Lisa and I. We became Facebook friends. He's got my number. We've probably texted every other day since, and I've been planning on meeting several times just to kind of help him get through that. He shared some stories with me that inspired me. I shared some stories with him that inspired him. I miss that. Like I need to start doing more of that. I'm gonna start doing more of that. So I'm gonna start engaging more people at the cancer center. But I also want to engage people on here as well. I haven't been able to reply back to all the comments yet, but I see all the comments out there of people that are fighting their own battles. And man, I'm praying for you. I just wish there was a better way for us to kind of talk about that instead of like you leaving me a comment and me replying back to the comment. So I'm thinking about some stuff. I don't even know if this is possible. Like this YouTube stuff, I don't quite have it all figured. I don't have any of it figured out if I'm being completely honest. But like I know people do live sessions. I thought I don't know if this is working out, if trolls would get a hold of it, or people could call in and we can share our stories together, kind of get through what we need to get through. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking through that. So more to come on that. Lots planned for this weekend. We got Ryan's fake graduation is going to be on Saturday. Even though it's going to be nice out, it's going to be inside. So that's good. Don't need to worry about rain. Don't need to worry about chemo. Looking forward to that. On Sunday, have a big military cookout that we'll be hosting up near Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, the home place of Memorial Day. We've been doing that event now for about 15 years now, and I look forward to it every year. It's probably my favorite community event that we do. So looking forward to that. I'll try to have some pictures and some maybe some video from that event. In addition to that, I got blood work coming up next week. One thing I forgot to mention, the last set of blood work that I had, a week or two ago, I was in the middle of a 72-hour fast when I got that blood work done. And so fasting is something I used to do all the time. I absolutely love how fasting makes you feel. I haven't been able to do one recently though because of recovering from the surgeries and some of the medication I had to take. I had to take with food, so kind of put that off. But now it's time to kind of get back into that. If you've never done a 3-day fast, it can be difficult, but not impossible. First day, a little challenging, right? Second day, kind of miserable if you think about it. Make sure you have activities planned so you can keep your mind off of it. But by the third day, man, you feel so good. You feel like you could go on forever, that you don't need to eat. You just feel good. And then that satisfaction of that, whenever it's finally complete at that 72nd hour, when it's time to eat, just that feeling that you have, like, man, you've accomplished something that most people can't accomplish. It's just an awesome feeling. Not to mention the super health benefits of that. Autophagy usually kicks in the third day. Some say even maybe the second day, where the body looks for like bad cells and goes after it and kills them. So we're gonna try that again this week. So I'm gonna do a 3-day fast starting on Sunday night up until Wednesday. And my blood work, I can't remember now if it's either third or Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll see if we can get the same kind of results. All right, guys, that is it for now. Appreciate you keeping up with my journey. Thank you.